Kristy Barber, founder of Revolve321 here in Denver. Kristy specializes in helping business owners understand their numbers and telling them and seeing how that plays into making strategic business decisions. Having worked in operations and finance for most of her professional career, she has learned the importance of making sure everyone involved in the business understands how things are accomplished on a day-to-day basis. That's huge, and I want to talk about that in a little bit. She's an avid runner and is always up for an adventure. We were just talking about some adventure races. Yeah, I'm gonna make you do the beast with me now.
No.
So my favorite question to ask, first off, is what was your first job?
My first job, I started working my family's business at 8. And this probably sounds so weird. It was pouring cough syrups into the pre-mixed bottles because they were a pharmacy, and getting those ready for winter seasons or flu, whatever. So I'd go on the weekends and earn money so I could buy things.
That's awesome.
And I remember my grandpa dropped me off after work, and he'd open his wallet. He's like, well, here, $5. You did great today. I'm like, okay, awesome. Only 60 more to go till I can get what I want to buy. Yeah, that was the first. I started out there, and I worked there almost every summer.
Wow.
For a while.
Dispensing and...
Yeah, I'm playing video games up
there
front.
You go.
Yeah. Remember Paperboy?
Yeah.
Yep. I got to be pretty good. I could make it to Saturday.
Wow, I haven't
Yeah.
seen or heard about Paperboy in
very
forever.
long time.
I actually think we might have it downstairs.
It's a good one.
We have all the Nintendos lined up from oldest to newest downstairs.
Yeah.
We've got the OG down there. So you started your financial and accounting career in the family business, correct?
Yeah. So my cousin started an accounting firm probably late 90s. And then I started working there in high school.
Okay.
And I didn't really know what I wanted to do. My grandpa's like, learn numbers. It'll get you places in life. Okay. So I started working for them, worked all through high school and college, and then got an accounting degree because why not?
Because what else?
Because what else am I going to do?
Right.
And then from there, they decided to put me into the family business at the pharmacy and then work between the two places.
Oh, so you're working both of those?
Yes. Because why work just one job?
Right.
It's
and
overrated.
so what were you doing in the accounting firm, though?
So I would do all the books and
Okay.
payroll and hand sign 80-something checks
Yes.
every week.
It's such a good... It's interesting because my first accounting job, I did the accounting. I would go get the clients' checks that they wrote that month, enter them into the system, run all the payrolls. It was all like hand done almost at that point. And it was just been really, really informative on how accounting actually works. It's not like we're handed QuickBooks Online and, it's kind of like that single entry almost through the feeds. Like we understand the ins and outs and how stuff gets messed up. And that gives us a better idea of how to fix it. I think
you can't just delete and fix it that way. Like, I have to do a journal entry to fix this one.
Right.
Yeah.
That's interesting. And then at the family business, you have a whole list or the pharmacy, you have a whole list of stuff you helped with efficiencies and processes and things like that. Tell us a little bit about what you implemented there.
So a couple fun things that we did was we had an issue with tardies. So people, they just showed up when they felt like it, Hey, when you were out of bed, then that's when you come to work. So I implemented a system that would track. I started out for the first quarter, if you were 15 minutes or less late, then, you didn't get a deduction. If you were more, you got a point. If you added so many, then I docked you pay for a whole quarter. So you could get 10% cut on your paycheck for a quarter if you didn't show up. And then we slowly brought it down to 5 minutes. And if you weren't late at all, you got 1 day off.
Oh, so that's awesome.
It was and I remember my little demonstration because I like visuals. I made a box and I made it look like a boat and put like all my 80s Barbies in there. But they all had dreadlocks and like ugly fluorescent clothes on. And I was like, see, this is you guys. All the Barbies are sitting different ways. One's hanging off the side. And it's like, you can't get to where you need to go when everybody's going a different direction. Everybody's like, oh, yeah, I see that. I'm like, okay, good. Barbie did a great job. And so that was a huge thing. And then just being able to give a good reward. So, hey, you could get up to 4 days extra off a year if you came on time, which is kind of sad because you're doing your job, but
right.
Still,
but it creates a culture.
It does.
We're all here together. We're all working together.
That was a big one. And then also helping with accounts receivable, because we used to do house charges because we've had the business 89 years. And you'd be like, oh, well, we know you. Put it on your credit and then you come pay.
Put it on your tab.
Yeah. I mean, then people
like
just start not paying. And so I was that person and we get the call. Yeah, you owe. Or you're going to collections. Your choice. And so putting a better system for that to help bring that down and cut the, maybe you can't have a $300 tab. It's, $50. And when you max out, you max out.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So there were a lot of old school things that my family still did that you kind of just don't do anymore. So, yeah.
Help kind of clean up some of that stuff. And that's really cool. It just cracks me up. Just put that on my tab.
Yeah.
I'll just take those pills and just put it on my tab.
Yeah, just put it on tab.
It doesn't happen anymore.
No.
Ever. Anywhere.
And I'd send an invoice at the end of each month, and then they would pay, and so crazy. The people would trade. I got these, I don't know, they bought a cow or whatever. Like, we could bring meat in for this. I'm like, it doesn't work that way. Sorry. I'm like, I'll take the steaks, though.
I love steak.
Yeah.
But I really do need you to
I really need to get paid.
Why don't you sell the steak?
Yeah.
And then pay me.
It'll work great.
It's just a lot cleaner.
Yeah.
I actually have a blog about barter on my website, and I'm just like, it's just really cleaner if we don't have to deal with it.
Right?
You know that because that's what you guys do. So tell us about, you've had a lot of positions between that one and Revolve321, but tell us about Revolve and what you guys are doing for your business owners and what services you're providing.
Yeah.
You guys have it's really more high level, and I love it.
It is. It's fun. I started the company this year after having a couple other companies, because you know how it is when you first start a business, it goes through multiple changes, and then you finally narrow it down to, okay, this is what I'm passionate about and this is what I love doing, and that's what Revolve represents. And a lot of the things that we do is helping companies look at what are some gaps that are keeping you from growth, or understanding your numbers so you can make a strategic decision from a financial perspective.
Right.
And so many business owners, numbers are either not their forte or they just hate, and some of them just hate it. It's like, I want to do what I want to do, and these numbers, they're just there. And so being able to help them understand that so they can find their goals. Hey, if your company is a $3 million company, you want to get to 5, even though that doesn't seem very far, there's a lot of work that needs to go to get that extra 2 million in there.
To actually scale the business.
Yep. And so coming in and showing them how to scale, what processes need to go into place, and even creating knowledge bases. So as their team grows, all the knowledge is captured in one place. So if somebody leaves, they're not stuck on that person like, oh my gosh, they left. We don't know how to do this job.
Right. So it's the tribal knowledge on top of, I love the process.
Yeah.
And I want to talk about that more because
it's fun.
We're both process geeks.
Right.
We love it. We love it. But in many of your positions, you manage people, processes, and numbers.
Yeah.
And so how has that helped you with your business owner clients?
It's hard. Like, managing people is difficult. They don't ever teach you that in school. It's like, it sounds easy. Like, oh, you have a great team. Things work. And I think working at my family's pharmacy was really good. I managed 82 people, which is a lot, and a lot of different personalities and ways people work, and learning how to meet people where they're at to then be able to help them and have them help you in return.
Working on their strengths, working with their strengths.
And I think even now they have so many of those tests with strength finders, and I think they're so important to have in a team so you understand, and each of your team members understands how everybody works. Yeah. And so, I think
there's so many different ones.
There are.
My husband always laughs because his company did the Emergenetics.
Haven't done that one.
And even the school district my kids go to, they all have their Emergenetics
on their
profile on their name tags.
Oh, how funny.
On their passes or whatever. And so it's just really interesting.
You walk down the hall, you're like, oh, you're that person.
You're that, you're this, you're that. And I just use DISC on a day-to-day basis because I can usually tell what people are pretty easily with a DISC profile. But I think strengths finders are really, really interesting.
Yeah.
There's another one, Strength Scope. So Josh Allen Dykstra, who is a 3 to 5 member, and he'll be at Summit. He has Strength Scope, which is really, really interesting. I can show you what it looks like. I was actually looking at mine the other day because I'm looking to bring somebody else into the business, and I was looking up my strengths and looking at what some of those complementary strengths would be for somebody else. So it's really, really interesting.
And even personality wise, you know, it's people you can work with well on a team.
Right.
And, and even working at the pharmacy, like knowing, hey, these people are, you know, they're really good at what they do, but in a team setting, they don't work well. They're better by themselves. So, you know, giving them tasks to do and then creating a team to do something else.
Right.
So,
And then we have our introverts and our extroverts.
And the people that go both ways, you know, like I'll have sometimes I'm like, okay, I'm done. I need to just go sit in my office and work. Yeah.
I always laugh. After the first podcast, I had to go take a nap.
You're like, I'm done.
I was like, that is enough extroverting for me today.
Oh, that's awesome.
I'm really an ambivert, but like I have to introvert. Otherwise, I'm a disaster.
Right.
Like I love people and I love peopling, but then I'm just like, okay, I'm tired. I need to go crawl in my hole for a little while.
Get refreshed and then come back out and
take a nap, apparently.
Yeah.
I was like,
Naps are the best. You have to.
I love it. So, but you did operations in some of your positions.
So at the pharmacy, did a lot of operational day-to-day things, making sure that all the cash registers, they'd count them out in the morning, and we had a process of how the money went in the bags and all that part counted, and just things with various medications of your fast movers, setting up processes for, hey, these ones move a lot, let's do pre-packs, so then they're ready to go, so you as the customer don't have to wait. You know, we can just pull it off the shelf, slap on a label, pharmacist checks it and goes. And so that was a big thing with customer service. You didn't wait 4 hours like you do at Walgreens. Yeah, it was 20 minutes or less. Kind of like Domino's Pizza.
There you go. It's kind of like Little Caesars, where you just go in and pull that.
You just go in and get what you need, and then you go. And that's something that's helped us stand out from competition over the years. Is I don't want to go drop off a prescription and wait 4 hours. Like, what if you don't feel well? You need your medicine now.
Right, and that's helped inform how you understand how other businesses work.
Yeah. Like, and you see the need to make your customer happy. And it could be, hey, that's not the most beneficial thing for you to push somebody through a conveyor belt line so quick. But if they're getting their needs met and they're happy, that's, at the end of the day, that's, you want your customer to be your fan.
Right.
And tell everybody else about how great their service was.
That's awesome. Yeah, and it's very interesting because when you have a background in operations too, then you can help other people with the processes on their operations. I mean, I used to run crews at a restoration company. Like, I know what that process looks like. I know what the project management piece looks like. And I think that's a gap in a lot of people's learning. Yeah. You know, maybe they just came out of school and started doing debits and credits, but they don't understand how businesses actually work.
No.
So you have that more in-depth knowledge, and then you're able to help people goal plan and process map. I love it.
Yeah.
So what is the biggest gap in financial understanding you see with most business owners?
I would say it's just a basic understanding of how to read their financial statements. I've had multiple multiple clients over the years, and I'll start looking at their books, and I'm like, wow, how'd you rack up all this debt? Well, I needed this. Is it a need or is it a want? At the end of the day, did you really need it, or was there a better way that we could have helped you get this a piece of equipment? Or because I know sometimes you have, hey, you really need this, but then you want the tax write-off too. And so trying to come together with your tax accountant and making that best decision of, hey, can you really afford this now? No, you want the tax write-off, but would this other work better? And so it's just a lot of education I've seen over the years of just explaining of, hey, this is what interest expense means. And these are all your bank fees that you've racked up this year because you weren't paying your credit card on time.
Right.
And just little things that they could easily not run into. I mean, I had one, he probably could have saved $12,000 that had, bank fees in him. Like, set a reminder to pay or put auto pay.
Right.
And then you'll be fine.
Right, because a lot of the time they have the cash.
Right. They have the cash and they just forget because they hate doing that. They want to be doing whatever the business is doing, which is usually their trade. Yeah.
And you and I have talked about this. We tell business owners all the time, like, you're not supposed to understand how to do your bookkeeping. No. Like, that's not your highest and best a lot of the time. Like, you don't have an accounting background. No. Would you expect me to do the thing that you do?
Right. Do you want me really doing this? No, you don't. Yeah.
You know, and they buy equipment and stuff, and we talk about this all the time. I always tell my business owners, you know, the buying an equipment or the tax write-off is not enough of a reason. Mm-mm. You have to have a reason to need this equipment. You know, does it create an efficiency? Is it replacing something you do, you know, absolutely need to create, you know, whatever your product is or service is? Yeah. I mean, then let's do it. Mm-hmm. But if it doesn't hit another goal or need,
it's kind of useless.
You're just spending 100% to save 30.
Yeah.
Potentially, right? And it just baffles me.
Yeah.
I get a lot of the phone calls in December. Should I go buy a truck? You have 12. Do you really need another one?
Unless you're selling one.
Yeah. Like, are you trading one in? Like, do you have somebody to drive said truck?
Yeah.
Like, otherwise it's just gonna sit around. Like,
collect
that's
dust.
My tax write-off. You know, what is the purpose?
Mm-hmm.
And what could that money be used for?
Yeah, and so trying to just show them that and looking at ways that reviewing contracts each year, you know, so many business owners, they get an insurance policy or they have a contract with a cleaning company and they don't review it. Each year they just let it renew. Mm-hmm. Well, what if you would renew that and maybe you could save X amount of dollars and just telling, you know, educating them on those very simple things they can do or, you know, putting it out there and seeing who else could bid on it.
Yeah, or even making sure you have the right insurance a lot of the time too.
Because a lot of times you may have started out because you were a smaller entity and you still have that same insurance policy and it's really not going to be the best fit now that they're larger. It's not going to cover. So you're like, you may want to review this one now.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
It's very interesting to me. Do you find that businesses really don't get the difference between cash and accrual accounting?
Yes.
You guys do everything on an accrual basis, right?
A lot. I have a couple that are cash basis. And I know sometimes it's just a choice too, because accrual doesn't make sense. They're like, I know I put money in and I know I took money out, and accrual, I mean, most people, they're like, well, I didn't do this service yet, but I've billed for it and the money isn't in the bank, but it shows up here.
Yeah, it's easier to benchmark off of accrual though.
It is. And then to do your forecast models, but so many of them, they're like, well, you know, we'll just forecast off cash. And I'm like,
that's not really how this works.
Yeah. It's tricky.
It is tricky. I spend a lot of time explaining cash versus accrual to my clients.
And even cash flow.
Yeah.
You know, how many people look at a bank and they're like, well, my balance is this. This is how much cash I have.
Right.
And I'm like, no. How many checks did you write today that are going out? How many are going to clear that you sent out last week? And what deposits are going to come in? And so creating spreadsheets for them so they can easily plug in their numbers so they know real time, hey, this is how much cash I have sitting.
Oh, it's just like a real time. I love that tool.
I love things like that.
I know. I'm like starry-eyed about that. Ooh, processing, spreadsheets. I love it. So that gives them a real idea of how much cash they have, because we know most business owners are only looking at their cash.
Yeah. And that helps them make their decisions. Yeah. And like
full disclosure, I do the same thing.
Right? Same. And I build some of them out. They're a little more detailed than others, so we can kind of track certain expenses. So we may do a line item that's all utilities. And so they know, okay, every month it's this amount for utilities. And then, you know, of course, miscellaneous or whatever else you want to throw in there. But I'll customize it to their needs.
I love that.
Yeah. And then it's very simple.
I could totally use that. That would really like that.
Yeah.
To know what's coming out every month.
I know. I actually listened to a podcast the other day. I don't know if you ever listened to Side Hustle.
So many. There's so many in my queue right now.
It's a CPA that she didn't really like being a CPA. And so she built Excel spreadsheets to sell to small business owners to do similar things like this.
So she's like our people.
Yes. It was so funny. I was like, that's brilliant. I need to look at her little Etsy store. She sells them on Etsy. And makes, I don't know, over 6 figures a year just selling Excel spreadsheets. what did we miss out on here?
Yeah,
right?
dang it. There we go.
Yeah.
I know. I keep trying to find like that early adopter thing, and it's every time I see something that I was like, dang it.
I know. Like, I should have done that.
On that one.
Yeah.
Oh well, we'll get there.
Right.
So you do a lot of processes and systems again. So building the spreadsheets out. What systems do you help business owners implement, and what is the impact from those systems a lot of the time?
So a lot of them are ways to automate. Mm-hmm. So QuickBooks works with everything, which is great. And they even have a lot of APIs that will connect with the desktop version, because I still have a lot of people that like desktop. I kind of still like desktop. Sorry.
We were just talking about, I'm pointing at Steven over here, our podcast producer. We were just talking about QuickBooks Online, and I was like all starry-eyed about it. I love QuickBooks Online.
I like it. But I like that the desktop is just so easy because you're not waiting for that internet connection sometimes. So yeah, I like that part.
Yeah, I'm a QBO convert.
Yeah.
I've been converted.
I know I'll probably get there eventually.
You will.
In the moment, I'm like, oh, I still like my desktop version.
You're an early adopter. I'm really surprised you're not like, I love QBO.
Kind of a little old school that way. But there's a company called Bill.com. Mm-hmm. And so it'll integrate with QuickBooks for people that don't have time to write all their checks out. And so we can help create a mailbox so all your invoices go into that. Bill.com can read those, creates a check to write it, goes in a queue, and then you can check off to be like, oh yeah, this is right, good, pay. And so that cuts down your time so much of all that manual entry.
I love that. So I've actually looked at Bill.com a couple times, but that's a really good synopsis of what it does for people.
It's a great one.
Makes life easy.
And then I've been looking at some sales tax softwares too. Oh, man. Because we all hate sales tax.
We do.
Reports.
We all hate sales.
And
in Colorado especially.
Especially Colorado, yeah. The counties are like, hey, they change when you cross the street.
The home rule and that, yeah, I just did I did some sales tax research for a new business that's going up here in Littleton. And there's things that the state exempts that the city doesn't. And so, like, I'm going back and forth with the city, like, what am I doing here?
Right.
What is this? Do you have this? You know? So it was very interesting for me to build out their products and really how they need to be taxed. And thankfully, they're just going to be in one location.
That's nice.
They're not sending stuff, places.
Yeah.
Which even gets crazier, especially in Colorado.
Mm-hmm.
But with
and then now with the online stuff, too, of having to start tracking, hey, where did that go with the e-commerce, how they want to start doing that.
Sales. I just did a bunch of CP on that the other day because I do have some clients who send some product out and to different states, and every state has a different thresholds. And now they're talking about universal threshold, but then the states have to adopt it, and
it's a mess.
My brain is just like, why?
Right.
Yeah, I mean, and we want to comply.
Yeah.
We want to be in compliance. And so I'm just like sending him a list. I'm like, this is where we go, There's actually somebody online who's created, she has this grid about the sales tax. I'll send it to you.
Oh, that's cool.
It's really, really good. And she's got links to everything.
Yeah.
I'll send it to you. It's a really, really good resource for, what each state is taxing. Because they all do have thresholds on the e-commerce, or most of them do. So it's like, if you're not doing more than 100,000
then we don't care.
We might be all right. Just stay out of that state for me.
Like, you hit that cap and you're like, sorry, can't sell there anymore. Go to the next one.
Right? Yeah. Sorry, can you drive across the state line for me? So
no big deal.
It to you. So we know there's a lot of ups and downs with business ownership. We've both experienced that in the places we worked and in our own businesses. How do you help your clients cope with that?
I think a lot of it is just hearing, where they are and then being able to share my experiences with that and let them know, hey, you're not alone. Right. The ride of being an entrepreneur is crazy.
It is.
It's nothing so like they tell you it's going to be. I remember taking a class in school and they're like, oh, this is great. And they make you feel it's so easy. And then actually doing it, I'm like, well, today I hate myself. Tomorrow I'm like, oh, this is great. I got it's that roller coaster all the time. You're like, do I have what it takes? Yes, I do. And,
why am I doing this? Oh, wait, that's why.
Right. And then being able to surround yourself with people that are good mentors and that have been through it and they're, a few steps ahead of where you are, to be able to tell you it's okay. You're going to survive.
Yeah. I think, we talk all the time about mentorship and how important it is to find somebody who is at least you know, like you said, a few steps.
Yeah. Or on the road where you want to be too.
Yeah.
So you got that similar goal.
Yeah. Somebody who's either in front of you or beside you. And sometimes that moves a lot.
It does.
Yeah. I have a lot of people, a lot of, you know, of my network and my group of people that, you know, I trust that are, you know, in some things they're next to me and some things they're behind me and some things they're ahead of me, but we can all work together to get us all there. It's all like the masterminds and the mentors, and it's just really, it's so important.
It is.
I see business owners out there floundering around all the time, you know, and I try to like pull them in and be like, what is your goal? What are we doing? Why are we doing this?
Yeah. How can I help you?
Yeah. Can I at least get you focused on your purpose? Because that will help, right? Yeah. Because if we have a purpose, then even when we're like down in the bottom,
this is still there.
At least we know there's a reason.
Yeah.
We might be doing this. It might not look like a good reason at that time, but
in the end, it'll all work out.
Or it won't.
Yeah. Or it's plan B.
Yeah. Or we just scrap it and start over.
Yeah. And how many times, like, I've done that even. I was like, oh, this is a brilliant idea. And then you kind of test it with people and they're like, no, it's really not. All right.
Nope, wouldn't buy
Throw
it.
that one out. Try this one.
Yeah, we're like on our third iteration of like package services or packages, which is new for most, you know, most CPAs don't run on package services. And it's constantly evolving.
It is.
I just rolled out new ones in November. Now I'm revamping again.
Why not?
Because things are changing.
They are. And then you get to know what people are wanting, because then they feel comfortable enough to voice their opinion of like, oh, I like that, but what if you added this or took away this?
And then I notice like I have some services in my packages all the time that people just don't use, like they don't see value in, and I'm like, okay, well, just take that out, add this, maybe this is something that's useful. I used to do benchmarking at the end of the year for all of my clients. I used to run this benchmarking for them, and I had one client actually review it, actually look at it.
Nobody
and
else.
I'm like, okay.
All that work.
And cost. The stuff cost, like the software was like $6,000 a year, and I was like, okay, cancel.
Like, we don't
my
need this
business
one.
owners don't care about that.
Oh, that's hilarious.
All right, so before I ask you my last question for you, what is the easiest way for people to find you?
Find me on my website, revolve321.com, Facebook, same thing, facebook.com/revolve321, and LinkedIn. I'm pretty active on LinkedIn with posting.
Active on LinkedIn.
Yeah.
I know. I was looking at your post the other day, and I was like all of Kristy's posts, I need to post more.
It's hard. Like, I'll go in spurts and I'll write a whole bunch for a month or two, and then I get too busy doing other things. I'm like, all right, I need to like make this more of a priority and be able to share like what my company is working on, and you know, articles that can help people. And
do you schedule? Can you schedule on LinkedIn? Can you schedule posts?
Sure you can. I don't.
I'm looking at Steven.
I don't know.
Can you schedule posts on LinkedIn?
I don't think so. I don't think they allow that yet.
I don't think they allow it yet. I think there's a couple of, I think Hootsuite might have something.
Oh, yeah.
That lets you do
Oh, yeah. Good old Hootsuite.
Yeah.
So.
All right. Well, we'll talk. All right. So my final question for you is, what is the one thing all business owners need to know about their business?
I think the biggest thing is understanding your cash. Because how many companies go bankrupt because they didn't watch their cash flow? And I think if you understand your cash flow, you can survive anything. Even if a business isn't working so great, you can make adjustments to stay, you know, in a healthy spot with your cash flow. So I think that's the biggest thing, because that's scary. Yeah. You will get some of the, and if you understand it, then you're not going to go get line of credits and multiple credit cards and things like that where you're just hurting yourself. And it's just understanding what's going on with the money.
I love it. That actually leads me to another question. Have you seen the Profit First model?
No.
I keep getting these clients
is
that are
that
doing
Michael?
Profit First. I don't know.
It's a book.
Yes.
Yes. I have the book. It's my next one to read after I finish I'm reading Lean In by Sheryl Sandberg. Since I finished that one, the Profit one is next.
I have this huge list of podcasts, this huge list of books, and I'm just like, There's
not enough time.
I know. How am I ever going to get through all this stuff?
I need a Cliff Notes version.
Yes.
They do make those. So if you go on the library's Hoopla audio app, they have 4 minutes that reviews the entire book.
Oh, would you say it was Hoopla?
Hoopla.
Oh.
Yeah. Little plug-in for the library system.
Right. They're not sponsored, but
Right.
Hoopla, just in case you want to call me. That'd be good.
It's a great one.
Okay.
I really
I should
like
maybe
it.
do that.
Yeah.
Then I can like check some. Then you just feel like really productive too, because you just
You
check
do,
all them
because
off.
sometimes the entire book isn't what you need. You maybe need 3 or 4 chapters, and you're like, okay, this is great for what I needed to learn right now, and then I'll come back for the last half of the book later on. But yeah, that's been great. I love it.
I have to do that.
Yeah.
So I do see clients do the profit first model where they have all this pile of bank accounts, and they're putting a certain amount in for the taxes. They put a certain amount in like to save profit. They just put a certain in to like pay themselves, and I feel like that system doesn't help people get a handle around their cash.
No. There's a book called Simple Numbers. I don't know if you heard Greg Crabtree.
Uh-uh.
So I like his model. He
write
takes,
these all down for me.
I'll send it to you.
Okay.
He takes whatever your net income, because we'll just say you're in the positive, divided by your total sales. And that's a percentage. So if you're 5% or below, your company's dying and you need to make changes. 10% is you're healthy, you're doing great. 15 is you need to buy something or hire more people. And the thing is to repeat the circle between 10 and 15 the whole life of your business. And that's how you can help scale it that whole time to get from 1 million to 3 to 5 to $10 million company.
That is fascinating.
Yeah, I really like that model. And that's so easy and simple, because even if numbers aren't your thing, you can look at that and say, oh, something needs to change.
Yes, because
this number is not good.
Because 200,000 divided by a million is whatever.
Yeah.
And it's easy to adjust from there.
And he goes into, looking at your margin. How many labor dollars are you spending from your margin? And looking, hey, I'm spending 40% on labor. Okay, that seems high. Let's evaluate this. Do you have too many people?
Or are you in a service industry with a larger,
and so being able to make decisions from there. So, and his scenarios are really easy in helping business owners understand, are you paying yourself a decent wage? Are you working for free? And how to get to the point where you need to start paying yourself at least a minimal salary. So,
I love it.
Yeah.
I know. I look at people all the time and I'm just like, I need you to stop transferring every penny out.
Right.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Let's stop doing that. You have sales tax to pay.
Yeah. There's taxes at the end of the year.
Yeah,
there's a
there's
few things.
stuff that needs to happen here.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for coming.
Yeah, thank
today.
you. It's fun.
Love having you.
Yeah.
Yay.
Hey y'all, thanks for listening. If you found this podcast to be inspiring, helpful, and entertaining, please like and subscribe. This helps us grow the community and reach more people. If you are interested in learning more about this episode's guests or accessing any of the books or other resources mentioned in this episode, be sure to check out the description box below. Until next time, be abundant.